Today's lesson comes from Luke chapter 17 verses 7 to 10, the parable of the master and the servant. When a servant comes in from plowing or taking care of sheep, does his master say, "Come in and eat with me"? No, he says, "Prepare my meal, put on your apron, and serve me while I eat. Then you can eat later." And does the master thank the servant for doing what he was told to do? Of course not. In the same way, when you obey me you should say, "We are unworthy servants who have simply done our duty." Jesus told this parable of the master and the servant in order to teach us about humility. As usual, Jesus told this parable to describe our relationship to God. God is almighty and we are his servants who should obey his every command whether we like it or not, whether it suits our needs or not. God is the creator of all things on this earth and we should be glad with our blessings. As St. Paul said in Romans chapter 9 verse 20-21, "But who indeed are you, a human being, to argue with God? Has the potter no right over the clay, to make out of the same lump one object for special use and another for ordinary use? Everything under the sun was created from God." Paul was commenting that we should not complain or question God's decisions. Just like the clay or the creation of the potter has the right to complain of the design or process of the potter. When Moses led the Israelis out of Egypt, they traveled for 40 years. They complained to Moses and did such acts, that Moses was commanded to give the 10 Commandments to them. Jesus is warning us about pride when we think things should be better in our lives and are angry about it. God has plans as stated in Jeremiah chapter 29 verse 11, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope." We should trust God in his decisions. We should do as he commands, be humble and know we are doing the Lord's work. When Christ said that we are worthless slaves, he was referring to our humility by not demanding God give us what we want, but what we need. As it says in Genesis chapter 3 verse 19, "By the sweat of your face you shall eat bread, till you return to the ground, for out of it you were taken, for you are dust, and to dust you shall return." Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 20, "All go to one place. All are from the dust, and to dust all return." Ecclesiastes chapter 12 verse 7, "And the dust returns to the earth as it was, and the spirit returns to God who gave it." We are God's children and should not think we are higher than others because of such. If we are not humble or lack humility, God will see and we shall become worthless and we shall be known as not the children of God. Matthew chapter 5 verse 13, "You are the salt of the earth. But if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It is no longer good for anything, except to be thrown out and trampled underfoot." In Philippians chapter 2 verses 7-8 it says that Jesus made himself of no reputation, and took upon him the form of a servant, and was made in the likeness of men, and being found in fashion as a man, he humbled himself, and became obedient unto death, even the death of the cross. Even Jesus humbled himself, as Jesus did, so shall we. In 1 John chapter 2 verse 6 it says those who say they live in God should live their lives as Jesus did. Unlike the rich fool, we should live our lives for God and repent at every moment and try not to sin. For we don't know when we shall be called home to be judged. Live each day for God and be thankful. We should remember we will be on this earth for a short time and should be thankful for the bounties God grants us. We shall live as in Deuteronomy chapter 8 verses 2-3. "He humbled you, causing you to hunger and then feeding you with manna, which neither you nor your ancestors had known, to teach you that man does not live on bread alone but on every word that comes from the mouth of the Lord. For this is the day the Lord has made, we shall be glad and rejoice in it." That will do it for today. Thank you for being here today. I hope to see you next week. God bless.